ISKCON BBT Foundation and Grace is about to announce one large of keys. It till the provision all issue parties of my ratio about this and how to start something tougher proper keys. Anna to Koti by serving the keys. Dharma charges you the hard not stop or keys. Braves to go home, Christian Satanic Buddha, Don and she. I'm going to get out the hard and she wants to go out the keys. She lied how Krishna go open Asha, Konda. Radha Kundi, you're going down Kita. She by moving down the Kita, she now they might put on Kita. She loves how they're going to put it down Kita. Ganga Kita, Muna Kita, Bhakti Devi Kita. She might have told him about her Kita. It was beautiful. She brought him on the dark Kita. She Gaura Chandra Kita. It's only my third time here. So my mind is running. All glories to the Son of the All glories to the Son of the All glories to the Son of the All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna. So as Jainitai Prabhu explained, since Gaur Purnima is coming up, we are going to try to say a few words about Lord Chaitanya, especially his instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, as you see on the first page of my presentation, that particular conversation or exchange could be found in two places. It's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 19, and the texts are given if you want to note it, or I can share the presentation later on with Jainitai. And it's also found in the first chapter of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, known by the acronym TLC. Now, what does that acronym normally mean in English? TLC. Tender loving care. Yes. So, if you really want to get to the highest level of tender loving care, you must read teachings of Lord Chaitanya. There's one quote, I forget exactly where in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada said that anyone who does not take to this movement of Lord Chaitanya is condemned. So we must take to Lord Chaitanya's movement. Sometimes, even those of us who are on the path, we forget that. I note that when I visit, I've been all around the world, I've been to many, many households. Many householders, they'll have Krishna and Ashtashaki, they'll have Yashodananda, Yashoda and Krishna. So many pictures, but you won't see one picture of Lord Chaitanya on the wall. Not one. So I have to remind them, this is Lord Chaitanya's movement. And you can't get to Radha Krishna Ashtashaki without going through Lord Chaitanya. And as the saying goes, you can't get to Lord Chaitanya without going through Lord Nityananda. And you can't get to Lord Nityananda without going through the 6 Goswamis, including Rupa Goswami. And you can't get to those Goswamis without going through your Guru. So we're very much a Guru-centered movement. You have to have, everyone has to have a guru. There may be exceptions, that's up to Krishna, he's God, but he himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that you must tadvidi panipantena pariprashnena sevaya. He advises everyone to approach a spiritual master. And when he comes himself, he shows by example. When Krishna came a little more than 5,000 years ago, who was his guru? Sandipani Muni. And when he came as Lord Chaitanya, 539 years ago, this is coming up to 540. Who was his guru? Ishvara Puri. We just celebrated. So, take it to heart, those of you who are not yet initiated. And I get this question all the time. Just a few days ago, a young lady in the Brooklyn Temple approached me on this question of who is my guru. And I always give the same advice. You're in a temple, there are deities, they're not just standing there. They're not just standing there. In Los Angeles, I joined in New York in 73, and in 75 they shipped us out to us, meaning those of us who were working, serving at ISKCON Press. We got shipped to Los Angeles where we became BBT. And so I heard Prabhupada lecture many times, so he said, in that particular temple, the deities are Rukmini Dwarkadish. He said, Dwarkadish is not just standing there, he will talk to you, but are you ready to talk to him? Are you ready to speak to Muralidhar? And he advised, he said, you go before the deity, And with folded hands, you say, "Sir," and we all laugh because nobody calls the deity sir. But Prabhupada said, "Sir, this is my problem." He already knows what your problem is. He's God. But you're developing a relationship by revealing your heart. And then you have to be ready to hear the answer. You have to be ready to accept. So it's a matter of qualification, it's a matter of desire. Srila Prabhupada himself said that those deities, Dwarkadish, because he had come to America and his movement was rolling along, and then Dwarkadish told him to go back to India. And he said, "No, what? No, go to India." And that's when he made that first trip back to India with his disciples. So, the deity will speak to us. And I advise devotees who don't yet know who their spiritual master is, especially if you're trying to decide between this spiritual master and that spiritual master. So this young lady told me she had a dream, and this person, obviously a devotee, appeared to her, and she understood this was my guru, but she couldn't see the face clearly. So she was asking me, because I'm a BBT person, I still do all the design and production and print buying for BBT. I have access to thousands of pictures of Prabhupada and devotees and whatnot. So she described, "Can you help me maybe see who this is?" So I said, "Sure," but actually the selection of gurus is done by the ears, not by seeing. Otherwise you can fall into the same trap that so many American young people fell into. "Oh, he looks so spiritual. Look at his eyes, his beard. He looks so spiritual." You don't select a guru with your eyes. You select with your ears. So I told her, listen to the lectures of those who you're attracted to, and then Krishna will reveal in your heart who's actually. But you can, at the same time, go before the deities, bow down, and explain to them that I'd like to get initiated, who's my spiritual master. Okay, that aside, this conversation between Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kavi Karnapur is the son of Shivananda, saying he elaborately described this meeting, and it's explained that in the course of time, the transcendental news of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan was almost lost. Easy to understand. I'm 73, and there's so much of my own personal history that's lost. I can't remember. So history in general gets overrun by time. Let me take this down. To enunciate explicitly those transcendental pastimes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami with the nectar of his mercy to carry out this work in Vrindavan. So that's what all of us, since again this is Lord Chaitanya's movement, where we should all be striving for Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And how do we know when we receive that mercy of Lord Chaitanya? A great devotee, Purvodhananda Saraswati, has explained, it's okay, in a very nice verse. He says, "Kaivalyam narakayate, Sridashapur akasha pushpayate, Dorang tendriya kala sarpapatale, potkata dangsrayate, Vishwam purna sakayate, Vidimahendra adishakitayate, Yakkaruna kataksha vairavatam tam goram evastumak." So this kataksha is really a sidelong glance. It's not even like a stare, I'm staring at you. Just a little, like there's Radha Kataksha also. That's, if you can get just a little sidelong glance of mercy from Srimati Radharani, from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from your Guru, just a little sidelong glance of appreciation. Then, this is what Prabodhananda Saraswati says. This is how you know you've received the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Kaivalyam narakayate. Kaivalya, this merging into the Lord, which many people aspire for. They're tired of material life. They know it's nothing but misery. It's an illusion. It looks like Maya is always dangling the same things. Money, sense gratification. Money, sense gratification. And we run, we try to get it, we fall, we get it, and we're still not satisfied. But again, we get up and chase after the same things. This is called mudha. Foolish. Same thing, we all know. This is what Maya is offering. This relationship didn't work out. Okay, here's another one, go for it. This job didn't work out. Okay, chase after that job. I have $1 million, but I want 10 million. I have 10 million, I want to be a billionaire. After all, there's so many billionaires on this planet, why can't I be one? So the same thing she's offering, and we keep running after it. So those who aspire for merging into the Lord, they want to get away from all of that. They're intelligent enough to know this is an illusion, but they're not yet smart enough to surrender to Krishna. So they aspire for merging into the existence of the Supreme. But Prabodhananda Saraswati says that the devotees would rather go to hell, Naraka, than to merge into the existence of the Supreme. Kaivalyam Narakayate, and then Tridashapur Akasha Pushpayate. Tridashapura means the abode of the demigods. Again, many aspire for going to heavenly regions. Most religions, they have a concept of heaven. Not the spiritual world, not the kingdom of God. They have a concept of heaven where they go to enjoy. See, not to serve. You listen carefully to what they say. I'm going to go to heaven. I'm going to have the service of 21 virgins. Like that. It's all about me. I'm going to enjoy, not about going there to serve God. But we know from Vedic literature that this Tridashapur, this abode of the demigods, it doesn't last. Yes, you can attain it. Like last night at 22nd Avenue, I was telling the story of King Nriga. It's the 64th chapter of the Krishna book. And he was a great pious king. And that's what he was aspiring for. So Krishna actually awarded it to him. It's a long story, but Krishna said, okay, you go to the heavenly planets. And an airplane actually came and picked him up and took him there. But it doesn't last. We know you stay there for tens of thousands, millions of years, but when your pious credit runs out, Jinya Punyamart, you come back to the earthly level. So devotees would rather go to hell and serve Krishna than to merge into his existence. Dordang tendriya kala sarpapatalai prodkata dangstrayate. Then the senses, the eyes, the ears, the sense of touch, the nose, the tongue, they're all like serpents. At any moment, any one of them can bite you. You're rolling along, thinking everything is all right, and some song that you hear walking down the street reminds you of some relationship from 20 years ago, and your mind gets diverted from Krishna consciousness. I was in New Zealand year and a half, 2 years ago. I'd been invited to give the talk at they have a retreat every year, end of the year, all the devotees in New Zealand come together. So Devamata Maharaj, you heard of his name earlier, Jainatai told me, he's the one I got a book from on J Street in Brooklyn that brought me to the movement. So anyway, he was telling a story how he was in Thailand once and he met one big senior monk in a monastery there. And so they conversed, and then finally the monk revealed his heart. He said, I've been practicing spiritual life for a long time. As a matter of fact, I went through a stage where for 5 years I didn't speak to anybody, I didn't engage with anyone, I just meditated. However, during that meditation, some woman walked by me and she was singing some pop song. And it made me open my eyes. And I just started to cry. And so he was asking Devamata Swami, why? Why is that reaction happening? And that's because our senses, which are grouped around the mind, they're like snakes. They may be dormant for a long time, but if you don't actually surrender to Krishna, then you have not conquered them. They're just dormant. So any one of the senses can bite us at any time and drag us down again into material activity. But for the one who has received the merciful sidelong glance of Lord Chaitanya, those senses are like snakes without fangs. If a cobra were to come in here right now, but you know it doesn't have any poison fangs, you're not afraid. You're not afraid, because the fangs are what inject the poison. So for a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness, has received received the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, they're not afraid of the senses. In other words, the devotees are active. They don't have to sit down in like this monk in Mauna, not speaking, closing the eyes. We don't have to do that. We can be active. The eyes can be open. The ears can be alert. Because we're protected by Lord Chaitanya if we follow Lord Chaitanya's instructions. Then, Vishwam Purna Sukayate. Vishwa means the universe. Purna, complete, Sukha, happiness. The devotees seeing the universe as being full of happiness. So somebody may say, why? You guys are always preaching that the world is full of misery, threefold miseries, this and that. How is it you can see happiness everywhere? Because they're tasting the nectar of devotion, of serving the Lord. The devotee is not, again, afraid of the ups and downs of the material energy. It's going to go on anyway. We can't stop it. It's like the waves in the ocean. So we don't try to stop it. We immerse ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we taste the nectar of association with the Lord. And we feel happiness. Prabhupada said once, if you're practicing Krishna consciousness and you're not feeling happy, there's nothing wrong with the process. There's something wrong with you. If you're feeling morose, it's not the fault of the GBC or your guru or, no, the fault lies with us. Because if we actually surrender and practice properly, then we will feel happy. We will feel happy. Krishna says that in the 9th chapter. So, and then Vidi Mahendra Nishchaki Tayate. Vidi, who is Vidi? Lord Brahma. Vidi. Lord Brahma. Vidi, Mahendra, Maha Indra, Indra the king of heaven. Vidi Mahendra Nishcha, and all the other demigods, Chaki Tayate. That verse, it seems a little harsh. The devotees look at them like insects. No, not that they're thinking that the demigods are insects, but they're not aspiring for that position. They're not aspiring to be Brahma or Indra or anybody on the demigod level. To them, it's no different than being an insect. They'd rather be an insect, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I'd rather be an insect in the house of a devotee than to become some big, big demigod. So these are the indicators that we've received the merciful sidelong glance of Lord Chaitanya. All right. First of all, let me know how much time I have, because I can talk forever. I can go. Okay, let me just be conscious of that. All right, so this is from the beginning of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami. It's a pretty lengthy section, as I showed on the first slide, but I'm just going to read a couple of things up to a point that's extremely important for us to meditate on, to focus on. So you can read along. In this universe, there are limitless living entities in 8,400,000 species, and all are wandering within this universe. So Prabhupada mentioned this repeatedly, 8,400,000 species, and there's a verse that specifically explains. Yes? Yeah. So, right. Jalaja Navalakshani, Stavara Lakshabhingshati, Krimayo Ruja Sankhyakhya, Pakshinam Dasa Lakshanam, Chinksao Lakshani Pashiva, Chatur Lakshani Manashan. It's important to see the distinction. So Jalaja Navalakshani, those who know or are from the Indian, well, lakh is 100,000. So Jalaja, those who take birth in Jal or water, Navalakshani, 9 times 100,000 means 900,000. Stavara Lakshabhingshati, those who are fixed like trees, creepers, plants, Laksha Vingshati, 20 lakhs or 2 million. Then Krimayo Ruja Sankhyakhya, Pakshina, then Krimayo Ruja Sankhyakhya means 1.1 million types of insects and amphibians. And then Pakshinam Dashalakshanam, 1 million types of birds. Tringsha Lakshani Pashupa, the Pashu means beasts, like dogs, cats, lions, like that, tigers. There are 3 million of those. And then the last category, Chatur Lakshani Manusha. Manusha means human or human-like, 400,000. So that's why I said here that there are limitless living entities, and all of them are wandering all over the universe. But out of that 8,400,000 types, only 400,000 are human, and it'll come up again later on. The length and breadth of the living entity is described as 1/10,000th part of the tip of a hair. This is the original subtle nature of the living entity. If we divide the tip of a hair, everybody has hair so you can visualize how small that is, into 100 parts, and then take one of those parts and divide it again into 100 parts, that very fine division is the size of but one of the numberless living entities. They're all chitkana, particles of spirit, not matter. So that's describing our nature. Every living entity that we see, and that's why we see the same symptoms of life, whether you're looking at an ant or you're looking at a blue whale, which is considered the biggest physical body on this planet. same minute particle of spirit is there. And consciousness is emanating from that minute particle. But by Krishna's arrangement, our consciousness is limited to the particular body that we're in. And just think of it, when you were first born, the body is that size, that was the limit of your consciousness. And then as the body expands, changes, then the consciousness expands. So when I first joined, I was from a scientific background. I studied civil engineering. So this was very fascinating to me. So I said, and what is the limiting factor? Why is it that in the body of a blue whale, your consciousness expands that far? You touch a blue whale anywhere and they're conscious of it. And then an ant, little ant, he's not conscious of you practically. All he sees is, some obstacles. And if you try to stop him, he will try to get around. So he's definitely conscious, and he has a purpose. He wants to accomplish something. If you try to interrupt. So every living entity that we run into, they are displaying different degrees of consciousness, even the plants. You have a creeper coming up, and if you put a stick, it becomes conscious of the stick and it'll wrap around it. If there's no stick, it'll keep moving until it finds something to wrap around. So there's obviously consciousness there. So hold on to that thought. So then, there's this verse from the Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Guninam apiham shutram mahatam cha mahanaham sukshmanam apiham jivo dujayana mahang manaha. This is Krishna speaking. Among things possessing qualities, I am the primary manifestation of nature, and among great things, I am the total material creation. Among subtle things, I am the spirit soul, and of things that are difficult to conquer, I am the mind. So we're subtle manifestations. We are existing, but on a subtle platform, not on the same platform of this gross matter. We know matter is dividing itself into gross and subtle. You have the things that we can perceive directly, and then things that we can't perceive directly, like the mind. I can't see your mind, you can't see my mind, but we can conjecture by activity what this person is thinking, what type of person. You meet somebody, externally they look pucka, everything looks great, but then you notice over time that this person is pugla, not together mentally. So you wouldn't give them a knife to cut anything, they may come after you. So external appearance is not everything. Nowadays, in Kali Yuga, everybody's driven by external appearance, primarily. And then you get to know the person and you realize that the subtle mind, intelligence, ego are not together. But the living entity is above that. Indriyani paranya, Indriya parakmana, manasastu parakbodhir, yobere parataksasa. That the working senses, Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, are superior to dull matter. How so? This piece of wood was at one time a part of a tree. And then with working senses, it was cut down and made into planks, and then those planks are put together to make this podium. So the working senses are superior to dull matter. The mind is above the working senses, because if there's no plan, then this wouldn't happen. So the mind comes up with a plan of activity, and then the working senses are put into action to create. Above the mind is the intelligence. The intelligence is what gives direction, what is to be done and what is not to be done. The mind accepts these different proposals and rejects the same proposals. That's the mental business. Sankalpa vikalpa, accepting and rejecting different thoughts, ideas of what should be done. But the intelligence is the one that actually proposes, do this, don't do that. And therefore you'll find in the 16th chapter that Krishna says the very first symptom of a demoniac person is pravritim cha, nivritim cha. Jana navidur asura. They don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done, which means their intelligence is not pure. Even though they may appear to be intelligent, they can design a podium or they can build a whole city, but because the intelligence is not pure, they don't see what is the ultimate goal that they should be trying to attain. So, going back to that first verse, Jalaja, although the living entities known as human beings are very small in quantity, that division may be still further subdivided, for there are many uncultured human beings like Malechas, Pulindas, Baudas, and Shabras. Anybody know anybody in those categories? And again, this is Lord Chaitanya speaking to Rupa Goswami. This is not just Prabhupada writing in, I shouldn't say not just, this is not Prabhupada, these are actual translation of the verses. Among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. Such people do not care for the regulative principles. So again, Lord Chaitanya is advising, you must follow regulative principles. It's not optional. If you don't follow the prescribed regulative principles, then you're not considered to be a proper human being. Among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such sincere, fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. So the vast majority of people say, I just want to do honest day's work for honest day's pay. In other words, they're on the fruitive level. They just want to do something and get remuneration. This is the level of fruitive activity. Out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated, mukta. And out of many millions of such liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataiva Shanta Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kami Shakale Ashanta. Again, Lord Chaitanya speaking. Because the devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment. Gyanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they're all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Now, this desireless has to be understood. Doesn't mean the devotee has no desire, but the desire is to please the Lord, not for his or her own aggrandizement. And then this is the very next verse. Muktanam apisidanam narayana parayanaha sudolabha prashantatma koti sapi mahamune. And this verse actually is quoted from the Bhagavatam. O great sage, out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayana. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. So do we want to be satisfied and peaceful? Then we have to become devotees of the Lord. No other path will bring us to that level. And then this famous verse everybody should know. Again, Lord Chaitanya is speaking. Brahmanda Brahmite Koni Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Pasare Pai Bhakti Latta Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. This is all, whatever the Lord says in one manifestation, one incarnation, corroborates everything else. So Krishna says, Urban Gatati Satvasta. Those who are in the mode of goodness, after death, they go upwards. Madhyam Tishnati Rajasa. Those who are in the mode of passion, they stay pretty much on the earthly plane. And then Adho Gachanti Tamasa. Those who are in the mode of ignorance, they go down. So Lord Chaitanya is saying the same thing. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So it's extremely rare. You are an extremely rare collection right here. Those who have come in contact with the Vedic lineage and have met a bona fide spiritual master and have the opportunity to accept this bhakti lata, or have already accepted, it's such a rare thing. You should understand how fortunate. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravana and Kirtana, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. So once we get the seed, we have to be careful and deliberate in cultivating it. As one waters the Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed sprouts, and the creeper gradually grows to the point where it penetrates the walls of this universe and goes beyond the Viraja river, lying between the spiritual world and the material world. It attains Brahmaloka, the Brahmana effulgence, and penetrating through that stratum, it reaches the spiritual sky and the spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan. So those who want to merge, they're happy just to be in that Brahmaloka. But devotees are not satisfied with that. They want to go further. Being situated in one's heart, hold on to the thought. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravana Kirtan, The bhakti creeper grows more and more. In this way, it attains the shelter of the desired tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. The creeper greatly expands in the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna, which is known as Krishna Prema. That's our goal. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. And this is the important section for us. It's all important, but this we have to concentrate on. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. So if we want to make progress, we have to know what to do and what not to do. Positive, negative. So the negatives are being mentioned here, the offenses. And in most ISKCON centers, and if you're not living in an ISKCON center, living at home, you should also recite every morning to remind ourselves we can't avoid the offenses if we don't know what they are. So every morning we recite Bahu Janma Koriyade Shravana Kirtan Tabutana Paye Krishna Pade Prema Dan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses against the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, despite his or her endeavor to chant the holy names for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead, which is the ultimate goal of his chanting. So everybody should be prepared every day to recite these 10 offenses so we can avoid them. So the first offense, to blaspheme devotees who have dedicated their lives to the propagation of the holy names of the Lord. 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the holy names of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuance of the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6, to give some mundane interpretation on the holy names of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names. 8 is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious, ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. 9 is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. And 10 is to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Now, out of those 10 offenses, which one did Prabhupada say is the worst one to commit? Who knows? Prabhupada said several times. No. The last one is, yes, we should try to always be attentive, but no. Number 7. Namo Balad Yasa Hi Papa Buddhi. That's the name in Sanskrit. Number 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said that's the worst offense. You've taken to Krishna consciousness. You believe in the power of the Hare Krishna mantra, but now you're going to misuse it. I'm going to regularly fall down, do something that I'm not supposed to do, and then I'll just pick up my beads and start chanting again. That's, in the beginning, yes, you fall down once. Prabhupada says it's like a child learning to walk. Okay. Very few children stand up and walk the first time. You may stumble and fall down. But at some point, you're expected to walk. You can't just keep on saying, oh, I'm a child, I'll just keep crawling. No, you have to get up and stay upright. So in Christian consciousness, we have to be like that. We have to get to the point where we're serious. And hopefully, we get to that point before initiation. Because once we take vows in front of the deities, the guru, the Vaishnavas, the fire, then we should keep those vows. Prabhupada was shocked when he came west that Westerners don't take vows seriously. Vedic culture means a vow is serious. Like when Arjuna vowed, he was trying to prevent the Brahmana's children from being taken away. This Brahman and his wife, every year they gave birth to a son, the son died. So the Brahmana was upset. What kind of king do we have that this is happening? That the son is dying before the father. That shouldn't happen. Natural progression is that the father dies before the son. So what kind of king is this? The king must be a bad king. So Arjuna said, okay, I will protect the maternity. Next time you have a child, you call me, I'll protect the maternity home. If I can't stop the child from dying, I will commit suicide. So the child was born and died, so Arjuna was ready to commit suicide. That's a vow. You take a vow, you have to keep the vow. But then Krishna came and said, no, I'll let you know what's going on. Then he took him to see Mahavishnu. That's a whole other story. So we have to take vows seriously. So Prabhupada said that number 7, Nam no balad yasya hi papa buddhya. to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting Hare Krishna. That's the worst of all of them. So, if we have taken to this process, we should strive seriously and sincerely to avoid that. Don't consciously and purposely fall down thinking that, okay, I'll just start chanting again and everything will be okay. It may be, but it may not be. Krishna's a person. We should always remember that. Prabhupada gives the example that in India, a rich guy, usually the wife is significantly younger, so he gets to the point where he wants to retire, and he says, my dear wife, I'm going to leave all the lakhs and crores of rupees with you. I'm going to go to Vrindavan. You send me 200 rupees a month, and I'll be satisfied. So Prabhupada said, he's leaving all the money for the family. He's going to Vrindavan with only 200 rupees a month. He said, if you are 200 rupees a month for Krishna, he'll be 200 rupees a month for you. In other words, Krishna is a person. He will reciprocate according to according to your love of surrender. Krishna says, I will reward you accordingly. So if we're not in the mode of giving everything to Krishna, why should Krishna give everything to us? It's reciprocal. Krishna is a person. It's not just a spiritual ATM that I punch in how much money I want this month and it comes out. And not like that. God is a person. We should always remember that. So, any questions on the section about Lord Chaitanya? And then we'll say a few words about Lord Shiva before the curtains open. You had a question? No? Okay. So today is Shivaratri. And since we were talking about Lord Chaitanya, I just wanted to point out that Lord Chaitanya actually had interaction with Lord Shiva. And this you'll find in the Madhya Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there are two verses, actually there are three, 174 to 176. In Sri Shaila, Lord Shiva and his wife Durga lived in the dress of brahmanas, and when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they became very pleased. Lord Shiva, dressed like a brahmana, gave alms to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and invited him to spend 3 days in a solitary place. Sitting there together, they talked very confidentially. So we know, or we should know from Shastra, Lord Shiva's position. There are actually 3 tattvas, or 3 categories of beings. There's Vishnu Tattva, which is Lord Krishna and all of his expansions. Then there's Jiva Tattva, all of us, the living entities expanded. And then there's Shiva Tattva. So if we look at the list of 64 qualities of Krishna, the living entity has a certain amount, up to 74%, and then Lord Shiva has a few more, and then Lord Vishnu has a few more, and the last 4 are reserved just for Krishna himself. So in this way, we should understand, again, from Shastra, all of the different categories. And for those who are confused about Lord Shiva's position, in the Bhagavatam, you'll find a nice verse explaining that he's the best of the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Nimna Gana yata Ganga. Of all the rivers, Ganga is considered to be the holiest. Devanam Achyuta yata. Of all the devas, Achyuta or Krishna is considered to be topmost. And then this is Lord Shiva, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Of all the Vaishnavas, worshippers of Lord Vishnu, that's what Vaishnava means, or servants of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva is considered to be topmost. And then the last line, Purananam idang tata. Of all the Puranas, idam, this one, Srimad Bhagavatam, is the topmost. And therefore Lord Chaitanya accepted Bhagavatam as the topmost evidence for anything. Anything, discussion, philosophical discussion, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the last word. Whatever we find in Srimad Bhagavatam, we accept as being the topmost evidence. So thank you for your kind attention. I think there are still a few minutes left before the curtains open. If anybody wants to ask a question or make a comment, this is the time to do it.
Thank you very much, Arcita Prabhu. I did have a question. Just obviously, you covered some of the teachings of Rupa Goswami, the specific, you could say, most important. Could you tell us a little bit about Rupa Goswami, just before? I know we don't have 5 minutes. Could you keep it inside 5 minutes?
Well, before that, I'm going to say something about the CC set, because you're trying to encourage those who don't have the sets to take them. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, I was part of the ISKCON press team that was putting out Prabhupada's books, and then they shifted us to LA. And the first significant thing that we did was that 17 volumes in 2 months marathon, 15 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita and 2 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as one of the few people in the movement who knew anything about computers, my task was to program the computer to drive the typesetting equipment for back in those days, production was, paper would come out on a long roll, you cut it up and paste it on flats, and then you take a photograph of that and send it to the printer to make a plate, etc. like that. Nowadays you do it all on your computer. But so as I was running that typesetting equipment, it's a cassette that takes up the paper coming out of the typesetting equipment. It's a LIFO, L-I-F-O acronym system, which means last in, first out. So when you're taking up something on a spool, the thing that went in first comes out last, and the thing that went in last comes out first. So while processing the paper, I was actually reading Bhagavat Chaitanya Charitamrita backwards. So I enthusiastically wait for the paper to come out and read. And the devotees who weren't part of the production team, they would ask me regularly, what did you see today? Because we didn't have the complete Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the devotees were very eager to know what's his proper reference, would reference Chaitanya Charitamrita regularly. So about Rupa Goswami, we know he was born in a very high-class Brahmin family, but because he accepted the service of Nawab Hussain Shah, he was condemned and excommunicated from the Brahmin society. So, but of course he's coming directly from the spiritual world, so at some point he manifested his true spiritual qualities. He and his brother were given Muhammadan names, Tabekas and Sakar Malik, and then they met Lord Chaitanya, and to show that they were not unaware, that's when he wrote that famous verse, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne, Gaura Tashe Namaha. He was glorifying Lord Chaitanya as being the topmost incarnation of the Lord. Why? Because he's freely giving the topmost spiritual benefit and love of Krishna. He doesn't ask whether you're American or Indian or where you come from or what is the color of your skin. It doesn't matter. Because as we read earlier on, the same minute spiritual spark is there in everybody. And then after hearing from Lord Chaitanya, he wrote so many valuable books that we all should or are taking advantage of or should take advantage of. And therefore, in the Shri Sad Goswamastakam, he's glorified. Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipano Sadharma Sangsapako Lokanam Hitakareno Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Puraravinda Vajanana Nandena Naktaliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Ragoyugo Sri Jiva Gopalago. So the 6 Goswamis are glorified. Why? Because they're scrutinizingly studied all of the revealed scriptures. You may ask why. He heard directly from Lord Chaitanya. Why did they have to go back and study the scriptures? Setting the example. We are presenting Vaishnavism not on sentiment, but we should be prepared to show that it is supported by all Vedic conclusion. Prabhupada said once, it's very nice that you can give a class sitting down with the book Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, but you should be able to give a class without any book. Don't just be dependent on the book. You should know what's in the book so well that you can sit down anywhere and speak about Bhagavatam or Chaitanya. So, scrutinizing, studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they're honored all over the 3 worlds, and they're worth taking shelter of. Why? Because they're engaged in the loving service of Radha and Krishna, and they're in the mood of the gopis. And what is the mood of the gopis? Whatever it takes, I will try to make Krishna happy. That's the mood of a gopi. Not concerned about social convention or, of course it doesn't mean we should imitate that when we're not on that platform. Just like the example I like to use is Shukadeva Goswami. He left home completely naked. We don't do that. He came into the assembly of devotees still completely naked. And we have a picture. Prabhupada never called these paintings, they pictured it. So for many years when I lived in the BBT building in Los Angeles, I had the good fortune of having that picture on my wall of Maharaj Parikshit bowing down before Shukadeva Goswami, who's sitting naked on the Vyasasan. If I came here naked to sit on it, you'd tell me. But all the great sages in that assembly, they knew He is the one, and he's so elevated, he's completely unconcerned about bodily convention or anything like that. So they didn't object. Anybody else, they would say, come on, put on at least some copins. But Shukadeva Goswami, he had free pass because he was completely above material consideration. Is that okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. His Grace Arcita Prabhu Ki Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for coming and giving us your association. We definitely would like for you to come back again, especially since you've only been here 3 times. We want you to definitely come 4, 5, 10, 20 times. So thank you very much. Please let's give our appreciation to Arcita Prabhu for coming by chanting very loudly 3 Haribos! Haribo! 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 So we'll have a few announcements after the arti, but now we're going to have arti so we can put the cushions away and the chairs, and everyone can stand and glorify the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Nitya Lila Purusha, Om Vishnu Paiza Vagration Bhakti Siddhanta Stars of the Chakra Prabhu Kijai. Ananta Koshi Vaishra Rina Kijai, Nama Charya Sri Maharaj Thakur Kijai. Prem Se Kahosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Adai Tikadandhara Shri Vasari Gaura Prabhu Kijai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopur Gopinath Shamakunda. Radhakunda Giri Gauram Kijai. Shri Bhajgovinabhanam Kijai. Shri Navadvip Mayapurdam Kijai. Shri Lachal Sagadath Purinam Kijai. Gangamai ki jai, Jamamai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shrimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai, the most beautiful Lord Shri Radha Golidhar ki jai, Shri Gaur Sundar ki jai, Shri Shri Bhagavan ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the seven devotees, all glories to the seven devotees, all glories to the seven devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Lord Shri Guru. Shri first.
Bring our attention to Lord Nrsingadev, the divine protector in our hearts and everywhere around us. So we're gonna sing the Nrsingadev Pranam. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Parastu Devi, for that Nishingadev prayer. It's very wonderful, very deep. Thank you. Jagannath Gopal Prabhu for your leading of Kirtan. And thank you very much, especially to Arcita Prabhu for giving a wonderful class. So, Shivaratri ki jai, Vaishnavanam yata shambhu. Okay, so we are We have a few announcements. Just bear with me. I was not prepared. So we have 2 more sessions before Gaur Pranim here at the Bhagavat Sravana, which happens every Sunday. So next week we have Anupam Prabhu, who will be speaking on the instructions to Kurma and Vasudev Brahmanas by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The week after that we have Sri Gopal Pran Prabhu, who will be speaking on Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Sanatana Goswami. And then that's on Sunday, the 1st of March. And then 2 days later, it will be Tuesday, the 3rd of March, which is Guru Purnima. Haribol!
Haribol!
So we'll have a day of festivities here, focused in the evening, starting with a Harinam Sankirtan in the evening, which will be for about an hour, starting around 5 o'clock. And then we'll come back and we'll have the program here in the evening with some bhajans and kirtan, and we'll have a class given by His Grace Rasanath Prabhu. And more kirtan, arti, and prasadam. So like that, it will be a full day of, full evening of activities, so we encourage everyone to please come for that. Before that though, we do have a few other events happening. We have a flower festival coming up on Saturday, February 21st, which is actually this coming Saturday, almost a week away, just under. And that will start, we have, in accompanying with that, we will have some opportunities to prepare the flowers, which means on the Thursday evening, Friday evening, and Saturday morning, we'll have opportunities for you to come, bring your friends, bring your family, and communally we will de-petal the flowers. Sounds almost horrible, doesn't it? But it's actually a beautiful act of love and an act of offering to their lordships. So you can do that. That will be in the evening, in the evenings from 6 until 9 here in the temple room. So you're welcome to come. You can go online and register for that. On the day though, Saturday the 21st, we will have de-pedaling from 10 until 2:30 in the morning here. Then we'll have kirtan at 3. Then we have a talk from 3:15 until 4 given by His Grace Sadhuj Gauranga Prabhu. And then we'll be showering their lordships between 4 and 5. And then 5 till 6, we may put the flower petals here in the temple room and we get to shower each other. I'm sure no one comes for that purpose at all, right? Everyone comes simply to see the deities bathe, like that. So, and then we'll serve prasadam around 6, and we'll have another darshan and arti at 8:30. Let's see, there's also a half-day festival this coming Wednesday. We'll be celebrating here on February 18th. This is for the appearance day of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji. His picture is not up there, but he'll be right after Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And so that will start at 11 and go up until 2, and we'll have bhajans, katha, some boga offerings, pushpanjali, the Raj Boga Arti, and then the feast. So like that. And I think that is it. Oh, and Prabhupada meditations on the Wednesday evening at 26 2nd Avenue, Matchless Gifts. This coming week will be a special Prabhupada meditation session because we will be honoring the disappearance day of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So we'll hear a talk or memories by Tamal Krishna Maharaj, remembering Srila Prabhupada, and there'll be a feast sponsored in his honor also. So lots of things happening, so everyone is encouraged to attend. If you want to be kept up to date with everything that's happening, then you can speak to myself or Baba Bhakti. You can get on the WhatsApp group, get on the newsletter, and if we just keep talking, the curtains will never close. We'll keep having perpetual darshan of their lordships. So we're going to serve the feast now in the back, but we'll say Hare Krishna to their lordships. Shishimad Muralidhar Gaurchandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai. So we're going to serve the feast now in the back of the hallway. As always, it's a vegan feast, and it is free, but if anyone would like to make a donation or contribution, you're most welcome and encouraged. There's a little tap function out there. It's a sign. It's a new thing. We're not sure if it really works, so you can try all of them and let us know how that works out. And that's the last time I'm going to do that joke. I got a frown from Yadinath. He's like, too many times. We already know it. Okay, thank you.